What is up, guys? I know some of you are booking different photographers and different video companies for your wedding day. I don't recommend that, but I know that happens often. Sometimes we're the ones shooting photos, someone else is doing video, or we're doing video, someone else is doing photo, and it often goes, it just goes disaster. It's a disaster. I'm just joking. It's not always a disaster, but sometimes it really is a disaster. So these are 3 things to do if you're booking a different photo and video team. Number 1, make sure your photo and video team are there to play nice. And how do you do that? What I recommend is you telling your photographer you not only booked a video team, but who your video team is. And you tell your video team, we booked obviously photographer, this is our photographer, and that you want to set aside 20 minutes for a Zoom call to introduce them together. Sometimes brides say, like, hey, call the photographer, call the videographer to introduce yourself, to come up with a plan. And I think that's like that's a power move when one person's the one making the call. We once had we were doing video. We called the photographer, and the photographer was like, "Hey, no need to bring lights. I'm bringing lights for you guys." I was like, "What the hell? You're a photographer. You're usually using flash, and even if you have constant light, your constant light is nowhere near as strong as ours, or the kinds that we like to use, or the soft lights that we have." So I was like, "No, bro, don't bring your lights. We have our own lights. Thank you, but no thanks. We'll take care of our lights." And I was glad, I was able to tell him, like, hey, I don't want you to try to make a power move or trying to bring your lights because you think, you're doing us a favor. You're going to just destroy our video by doing that. So be like a moderator, set up a time to do a Zoom call, introduce them, say a compliment about each one, tell them what part of the day is most important to you so they're on the same page. And then you can tell them if they have any questions. They can email each other, call each other, text each other, get each other's phone numbers, and you've done your due diligence for that. Number 2, what I recommend is, this is separately, or you can do it in the Zoom call, tell each of them that for each part of the wedding, they have an equal amount of time. So for the getting ready, if there's only 30 minutes, each of them get 15 minutes. Or for the formals after the ceremony, each of them get 10 minutes. Or if photography really is more important to you, then tell them, hey, the photographer gets 15 minutes, video gets 5 minutes after the photographer or video can go first. Be direct so everybody's on the same page, so there's no power struggles, there's no people going back and forth, because the kind of misconception is when there's different photographers and videographers that the photographer can be an asshole and the photographer can get in the way. And if you look on the Facebook forums, the groups, there are so many stories and pictures of photographers blocking videographers, cameras, and there's like a little hostility that's always there, which is why I always recommend you book the same team to do photo and video. But if you can't, or one of them is your friend, or whatever the reasoning is, have them talk to each other beforehand so they're all on the same page, and tell them what's most important to you. And if it is really that it's equal, then make sure they're aware of that as well. That brings us to our last thing. Have them start and end, but mostly start at the same time on your wedding day. So if you're done with your hair and makeup by 11 a.m., have photo and video start at 11 a.m. Don't have photo come at 10 a.m. Don't have video start at noon. Have them both start at the same time, because you're building rapport with the person that comes in first. So the second person does kind of feel awkward, does kind of feel they're outside the inside jokes. What I recommend to people I coach is, if you're scheduled to come at 12, let's say you're a videographer, to arrive before the photographer, just so you can build a little bit of a connection with the bride and groom, just so you're a little bit ahead of them. So actually, strategically, if I were to coach a photographer videographer, I'd tell them to come early. But as a bride, you should tell them to come at the same time so they're equal. They're supposed to arrive earlier anyway, so maybe when they arrive earlier, they can meet each other outside, say what's up to each other, introduce themselves, talk about gear, whatever they want to nerd out about, and then they can come to you. This way, everything is equal, at least in the beginning when everything's starting out. One of them might perform better. One of them might go above and beyond for you, but at least you set the baseline equal for them, and it's up to them to see how they perform. So that is what I would recommend if you are booking a different photo and video team on your wedding. Don't do that, but if you must, take these steps and do these steps. Thanks for watching, guys. This was Rush.